I'm joined by Desmond Ross. He's an international aviation advisor to governments and industry, and he joins us from Wexford in Ireland. Great to have you on the show. How on earth are airlines going to manage when no one, well, barely anyone is flying?
Yes, absolutely. If you want to get a seat on an aircraft, it's probably a good time to do it at the moment. Look, you have to draw a distinction between what we refer to as the legacy carriers. They're the people that have been around for a very long time, like British Airways, like KLM, like Qantas, and so forth. And the other side of the fence is Ryanair and EasyJet and the likes, who are what you would refer to as budget carriers or low-cost carriers, some people would say. Those words tell it all. The low-cost carriers, the budget carriers, simply don't have the money in the bank to sustain a long period of inactivity. They can't do it. As Kappa has said, and many others, some of these airlines are going to be bankrupt. They're going to be finished by the end of May, unless they get some sort of bailouts, and some of them will be even shorter than that. End of April is not looking good for quite a few, I would suggest. So, you know, the legacy carriers, on the other hand, most of those have got some substance and money in the bank. And Qantas, as an example, is bringing forward maintenance that needs to be done, will have to be done, but previously had to be fitted into their flight schedules. So right now they've got a window of opportunity to catch up on a lot of maintenance that will make life easier for them when things return to normal.
Now, Desmond, I was in the UK, 2 weeks ago. Flybe went into administration then. It was already suffering, but the coronavirus was the icing on the cake. You've mentioned right now it is legacy versus budget airlines. Which other budget airlines, which so many people rely on, do you think will be hit the hardest?
I wouldn't like to be the prophet of doom and name any particular ones that I think are about to fall over, but I suggest there are probably quite a few. If you look around the world, I mean, you've mentioned some of the well-known names, and in Europe we have some very well-known names, but they're all over the world. In Indonesia, you've got Ryanair. China, you've got low-cost carriers. And South America, there are several of them, dozens even. And I don't think any of them are going to withstand this very easily at all. They're already paying off staff. There are hundreds of airline staff, thousands even, that are sitting at home right now wondering where their next paycheck is going to come from. And you know, Amazon wants to hire a lot of people. Maybe they can look at the airline industry. They'll find a few people that'll hold their hands up for work. But it's a very sad and difficult time ahead. And we don't know how long it's going to last.
We don't indeed. And do you expect the government to step in and provide bailouts?
I'm sure they will in some cases. I'm just thinking, actually, I've recently been in Africa, and there's a couple of airlines down there, including a very well-known South African airlines. They're in serious trouble. Air India has been bankrupt probably half a dozen times over the years, and no one has really noticed because the government keeps bailing them out. And so they will in many of these countries, because it's not just the cost of running the airline, but the airline brings in all the business. It brings the people, the tourists who will spend money in other sectors as well. So the airline is the bottom, is the beginning of the flow of currency into these nations. And without the airlines, a lot of countries, Namibia is a country in point, they've just stopped flights by Qatar Airways. KLM and others will cease operations into Namibia. That country is already in a downward spiral economically, and the nation itself can end up going bankrupt. And this will happen right around, unless they do find a way to bail out the airlines where they can.
Desmond, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Desmond Ross joining us there from Wexford in Ireland.